What is up, everyone? Thank you for checking out Don't Say the F Word. We are a pro wrestling and combat sports podcast where we do not use the F word when we talk about professional wrestling.
Oh, okay, you're back.
And you shouldn't let your friends use it either. Alright, it is Sunday. We are just about 24 hours after the Royal Rumble. We are joined by Mark's friend and his partner in crime watching the Rumble, Joe. Joe, what is up, my friend?
Oh, nothing much, man. I miss hanging out with Mark, so I figured I got to join with you today. So,
Alright. Yeah. He had a good time watching the men's Rumble match with you. Little known fact, Joe is my illegal brother-in-law, I think is what we'll call that. I think that's is that how that works? It's an illegal
we'll go
brother-in-law?
with that. That sounds perfect.
Alright. That sounds
Yeah, that
reasonable,
sounds
right? I
perfect
think
to me.
that's, yeah, I believe it, so that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
So, I was surprised that the Rumble kicked off with the men's Rumble match. I didn't think that would open the show.
Yeah, I figured
What
it'd probably be like maybe the women's title match first, or maybe like the women's Raw first. Rumble first.
Yeah, I didn't. Of anything, I wouldn't have thought Men's Rumble would have opened the show because that, to me, took away any elements of surprise for us to see anywhere throughout the night. And that's the other thing that I thought was, I don't want to call it shocking, but I was very surprised that there were not many surprises in the Men's Rumble. Like, Booker T was the only person that I felt was a surprise entrant into the Men's Rumble.
That is true.
Was there any? There was nobody else that was a surprise, right?
This Brock Lesnar being number 12, that's the only. Well, I figured he'd be later down the road, like in the 20s for Brock, but not number 12.
Lesnar not making it past the 3 minute mark, I thought that was crazy. Like, I didn't expect him to spend a long time in the Rumble this year. But I agree with you. I thought he would have been later on entry, so he didn't have to be in there a long time. But to get eliminated under 3 minutes, I don't think Brock Lesnar's ever been eliminated from the Rumble in under 10 minutes, let alone it being under 3.
What was last? What when with Drew kicked him out? He was in there like at least 15, I believe, 15 minutes.
He was in there for a while before Drew kicked him out of there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and the best thing I say about it was Gunther being number one and lasting through the whole entire thing. That's the best thing about it.
Whenever they opened the Rumble with Gunther and Sheamus, I thought they were just going to have those two just batter the hell out of each other for a solid 10, 15 minutes, maybe even keep them both in their 20 and keep going back to them, just brutalizing each other and just telling that story from Clash at the Castle again throughout the Rumble. I never thought Gunther was going to be one of the final two. Gunther and Cody was no one's final two. There's no way anybody had that.
Well, I knew Cody will eventually be in the two, but not Gunther. Like you said, Gunther, he should have won, in my opinion, lasting that damn long, taking everybody out. He should have won.
You would have booked Gunther to win? I
would have. Because he made it. I know the feud with him and Sheamus at the Clash of Castle, that was the best one of all. Like, that's the best match of last year, really, in my opinion. From AEW to WWE, all of them. That was like the best match, how they kicked each other's ass the whole entire match. That was literally the best one.
That match was incredible. But do you feel like that match was better than Seth and Cody? Hell in a Cell?
I do, because technically Cody wasn't really fully Cody at Hell in a Cell. He had one arm. Now, if it was like the one before that, what was Hell in a Cell? It was the second match. What was that? Where was that at?
So they did Mania, then they did the second one, then it was Hell in a Cell. I don't remember what pay-per-view the second one was on, actually.
Now the second one, it did better than the first, in my opinion. But the third, Hell in a Cell, it wasn't his best one because he really was just one arm person going in there.
But I feel like that told so much of the story. Cody with one arm at Hell in a Cell. I mean, I guess kind of the peck was the story more than what they were telling in the ring.
That's what it was.
But that Hell in a Cell match, there was so much emotion from the crowd. They were so invested in Cody and Seth and just Cody's injury. And I mean, come on, while it was happening, social media was blowing up people thinking that it was makeup, and somehow they made his pec look 4 times the size it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I I did enjoy Gunther and Sheamus though at Clash of the Castle. That was very hard hitting, very much a strong style type of matchup. I definitely would call it one of the top matches of last year, but
But also, it was the best
it's
because
hard.
it was just the best because they was fighting for the IC title and they made the IC like better than the undisputed title.
Yeah, Gunther has made the IC title matter, and I think along with I think the mid card titles now they mean something in WWE. I think for a long time they didn't mean anything. They were literally useless. They were just props. But now I feel like the IC title, the US title, I feel like they carry value. I feel like they actually mean something.
I feel like they do because Roman having a little part-time schedule and the US is the Raw basically second best title and the IC is SmackDown second best title to have. So as long as Roman doing his little part-time, that's them the only two titles they got right now. But yeah, the US title, they're making that bad boy like it's worth something right now. With everybody going after it. And the
And it's the best looking belt. It's the belt they have that actually looks cool. Like I the Universal title and the WWE title are they're not the best looking championship belts in the world. I mean, I got a WWE belt around here somewhere, but
it's just a W.
it's just a logo. It's like
It's just a W. That's all it is.
yeah, the new US title that they've had since MVP debuted that belt,
Mm-hmm.
and since then that's the best looking belt on main roster for sure.
Yeah. And
I I missed the NXT UK title. That was the coolest belt they had in a long
it
time.
was that was their best belt. But
And Gunther carried that thing for what 800
eight
days.
834, 43, one of them.
Man, so what do you think? So Gunther coming in number one. I mean, anyone who's checked out the podcast at this point already knows Cody won the damn thing. But what do you think? So Gunther's performance, I think he set the record for longest time. Then, what, an hour
72
and
minutes. 72 minutes.
yes, that's an hour and 12 minutes and then some change. I think that's the longest time in the
It's the
Rumble.
longest he beat Mysterio. Well,
Yeah.
if you want to say he beat Benoit's record, but nah, that's a whole other subject.
That don't count. That don't count. We don't count Benoit.
I know. I'm just saying you want to count that, but yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So how's it work? I mean, Mysterio was supposed to be in the Rumble and he never came out. Is he technically still in the Rumble? Are him and Curtis Axel still competing in a mystery Royal Rumble somewhere since they were both never eliminated?
Actually, Curtis Axel still got the longest right now.
Yeah, he never got eliminated. That's what, like 6 years, 7 years?
2015. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's 8 years. Yeah. So he's been in the Rumble for 8 years. I think that's a record that's not getting beat, I don't think.
And Mysterio, well, I heard he was injured from SmackDown taping.
Yeah, I'd seen that, but I didn't see what the injury was. What did they... was it a knee? I mean, I didn't see him get hurt in that match.
Yeah, somewhere like in the middle when Cross had him in one of his moves, he hurt his knee. I don't know exactly where it was at, but that's where they said it happened at. Because he looked it fine going through at the end of the match. He looked it fine, like nothing was wrong, but then, everything happens.
Yeah, and I mean, he's not a young man, so I mean, I think injuries with his style are going to be more prevalent over the next few years before he does finally call it a career and finally gives Dom his mask,
Yeah, I think
which I don't know.
only got like 3 more years
I
till he
don't.
turn 50. Because he said 50, it's done. He done.
Yeah, I think he's 46, 47, something like that. So I think he's not got a whole lot of time left to be doing it.
Yeah.
So, what was the standout for you? Cody wins. You got Gunther does the hour and 12 minutes. Are those the biggest pieces that really stood out to you? Is there anything else that happened during the Rumble match that you took away as being a big moment, other than the obvious Logan Paul Ricochet
That
spot?
was good. Yeah. I would say at the end when Sammy turned on Roman, like you know it's gonna happen, but you didn't think it was gonna happen right there.
I'm So everything else last night in the Royal Rumble. So the Rumble match, the men's match, I thought was done well. I would have, of course, liked to have seen some more drama in the ending story. I would have liked to have maybe been Seth and Cody at the end. But Gunther and Cody was nobody's thought for the final two. Gunther being the Iron Man of the Rumble, very fitting. I think it really sets him up to do big things over the next year. Cody winning, I'm completely okay with. I didn't think he had to win, though. I thought you could have done something else to get Cody to the title. I would have liked to have seen Bloodline members be in the Rumble, and they could have told a story there, but instead, not a single Bloodline member entered the Rumble. And then we follow the Rumble match, which I still, all things considered, I can nitpick, I can gripe, I can be a fickle wrestling fan and say all these things or these dream scenarios that as wrestling fans we made up on our own, that we thought Rock would be there when no one told us he was going to be. We thought Sammy would win when no one told us Sammy was in the Rumble at all. I thought the men's Rumble match was really good. It was the most excited I'd been for a Rumble in years. But then to follow that with the pitch black match, I
I,
I don't know if the Rumble went longer than they anticipated, so they had to shorten up the rest of the show.
I,
But that pitch black match did not last long at all. And I just didn't like it something was missing from that match. It looked cool aesthetically, but there was something about that match that I thought was just a little vacant somehow.
tell you the truth, I thought it was gonna be like dark, like not glow in the dark, but like a little bit darker. When they said pitch black, but they had all that glowing light, glow sticks and everything, and then the kendo stick. He hit him with the damn kendo stick, and it kept blinking different colors and everything like that.
Yeah, and Bray no sold the
I
kendo
know.
stick. He reacted like he was the Fiend. He just kept eating them. I don't understand the mask change. I'm assuming that was just a protective mask so he could eat the kendo stick shots
No,
and just walk
no,
through
no, no.
them. But
He put the mask on after he won. Cause
yeah, and then he ate all those kendo stick shots as he chased him around the arena. Those are the ones that he no sold.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I don't think he hit him in the head. Where he mostly hit him in the back, nowhere near the head.
Was it?
Yeah,
I thought he took.
he mostly only hit him in the back.
You might be right, but I didn't understand it because that mask hadn't been shown to us before. So there's no story behind that mask. It wasn't the Fiend. Bray has already said the Fiend's dead.
That
That he's not going to go back to being the Eater of Worlds. Even though Bray said that, and then they turned around and did the LA Knight parody of the Eater of Worlds gimmick, which I thought was kind of weird.
mm-hmm.
But I feel like that match was just,
It was just on there.
I don't
It was
know.
just on there to make LA Knight be better. Make him be. This was like his first major feud with somebody, and it didn't really go as planned. But yeah.
I mean, I don't think they meant to bring Bray back to get LA Knight over, but they got LA Knight over. I just think that they've done damage to the Bray Wyatt character that I don't think they can fix. Like, how do you feel about Bray since Bray's return?
Okay. It seemed when he first came back. What was that? Extreme Rules, was it?
Yeah, it was
Extreme
Extreme
Rules
Rules. It was in
at the
Philly,
end.
so that's October.
Yeah, at the end when he came back, had all them That was great. That was good. But then when he had on the next day on SmackDown, this made him seem like I don't know how should I put this. Made him seem like a guy that got fired and regret losing his job, then come back as a changed person, trying to fix everything, trying to make it seem like, yeah, I was rude, I was mean to you, but now I changed. Like they just made him look kind of weak to me. Like he went from a bad guy to like somebody's grandpa trying to say, we can change. You are a good person now. I'm a good guy. You don't need to be that bad person no more. That's what he sounds like a grandpa to me right now. And then the whole Uncle Howdy thing, I just don't get that. Like, I know it's probably his brother Bo, which ain't confirmed yet. But hey, I,
I think at this point they better not do Bo Dallas.
I,
I think that it's gone on now for 4 months with no real payoff. Like whenever Bray came back, of course I was excited to see Bray back because I really enjoyed the Firefly Funhouse initially in the beginning. As it went on, once they barbecued the Fiend and did all that and threw Alexa Bliss into the mix, they really kind of ruined it severely. Like it was damaged. But
I would say
when he came
if
back,
it wasn't for the pandemic, the Firefly Funhouse would be going on strong right now. If it wasn't for the pandemic,
yeah, and I also think they kind of booked themselves into a corner with the Fiend himself because what could you do with the guy? Because if somebody beat him, it didn't make sense. Like whenever whenever Seth Rollins did the Hell in a Cell match and actually buried him under everything, the crowd was so unhappy.
oh,
So there was nothing you could do but keep having him win. But you can't win everything, especially whenever you haven't proven to be the top guy. Like I like the Bray Wyatt characters, but he's never been the guy who could be unbeatable. He's not Roman, and they can't really book him to be Roman. But as they started convoluting things and throwing people into the situation with the Firefly Funhouse that made it not make any sense, they really killed that. When Bray came back in that first promo and the way he spoke and how he seemed very manicky, he seemed very all over the place, it led me to think they were going to do a multiple personalities gimmick with Bray Wyatt, or at least a guy battling his own psychosis in some way. I don't know. There was that Pixar movie where there were all the different emotions, were the different characters. I don't remember the name of
oh,
the movie.
it's I know what we're talking about. It's the
Is it Inside
Inside
Out?
Out. That's it.
That might be Inside
Yeah,
Out.
yeah, yeah.
So I thought that Bray's character would be like that. So he changed his, social medias to Wyatt6. There were all these references to his different characters. You had Huskus the Pig Boy.
Mm-hmm.
You had the Vulture. You had
Yeah.
all these different pieces of the puzzle. So I assumed they would have each of those characters would represent some piece of Bray's personality and his psychosis.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Bray Wyatt playing these characters, but these characters being something that we would see and Bray would be affected by, but maybe not necessarily like he's going to have a faction. Like there was a lot of talk during the White Rabbit of a faction with Karrion Kross and all these people, and
Mm-hmm.
they could have done another Bray Wyatt faction, sure they could have done that, but I didn't think that's where they were going to go. I thought we were going to be exposed to a mental uh, psychosis issue with Bray Wyatt that would lead him to being, dealing with his angels and his demons. His demon being Uncle Howdy, his angel being Uncle Harper, and like the devil and the angel on his shoulder. So I thought we would see those types of things happen with the character development around Bray Wyatt. Now maybe that's just me fantasy booking what I wanted to see, but it just felt like they were going to do something impactful. And I'm a fan of long-term storytelling, but you have to tell a story. And I feel like at this point with Bray Wyatt's story, they haven't told a story. They've given us one character in the mix with Bray. Just one. It's Bray and it's Uncle Howdy. but there's no story between Bray and Uncle Howdy.
Yeah.
Like, as a, can you find a story there? Have they told you? Maybe I've missed something because I don't pay attention to a lot of shit.
From what I got out of it, well, when he first came back, I thought he was gonna be like his bad character he was in the beginning. But then, like I said, he apologized and being a nice person. And then the whole Uncle Howdy thing, I think it came along like his second appearance on SmackDown when he did a speech. And that's when Uncle Howdy
Think so, yeah.
That's when Uncle Howdy came along and said, "Don't forget who you are," and whatever. Talking about remember this, remember who you are, the eater of the world. Trying to make him be his true person, but he'd rather be like a little sucker right now. I'm just saying, hey, that's how I see it right now. He was like the badass, the best. If you want to say heel, good guy back then. He had it going on.
Yeah, I mean, was the Fiend a heel? Do you think the Fiend was a heel?
Okay, this is how I see it. The Fiend was like Finn Balor, Demon. He only came out on certain people when he got really, really mad at somebody. That's when you seen the Fiend.
Yeah, I mean, generally a monster like that, I would say, is without question a heel. But
but
they didn't really. But the crowd was so into the Fiend. I'm not sure he was a heel because Finn Balor's Demon King, wasn't a heel.
No.
It was just a special power alter ego thing. The Fiend, even though he was attacking legends, stole the mandible claw, wrestled ultra violent, no sold finishers, everything he did should have kind of made the Fiend be a heel, but the crowd didn't react like he was a heel. But I think you're right. I think the Fiend was supposed to be a heel, not just a monster that we rooted for. I don't think we were supposed to root for the bad guy there.
I just think, yeah, it's just like when you seen when he did the Firefly Funhouse, you saw the little good side, like how he was cheering on the kids and everything. And then once somebody just made him mad, like who was it? The first person he did was it Finn Balor?
First one was Finn. Yeah, first one was Finn.
But
he sent Finn back to NXT.
Yeah, but then the second one, was it Orton or somebody? No, Seth. Okay, Seth. When he did with Seth, now he was the nice little Bray in the Firefly Funhouse. But then once he got serious, that's when the Fiend was slowly starting to come more out of his bad side when he's still walking around in the Firefly Funhouse, Mr. Rogers' character. And then every time he got to that point where somebody just really, really made him mad, that's when you start noticing the Fiend. Like it'll come up on the screen, or it'll come out somewhere around like a ghost.
So, if the Fiend was supposed to have been a heel, what is Bray Wyatt now? Is Bray Wyatt now a heel, or is he a babyface?
Right now,
kind of seems like he
right now.
Thinks. Is he though, or does he think he's a babyface? Because everyone around him, so his only connection right now is Uncle Howdy. Nobody else is really associated with Bray Wyatt, and Uncle Howdy's attacking LA Knight backstage. Uncle Howdy jumped off whatever that thing was and landed near LA Knight because he didn't land on him. He landed by him. It wasn't on them. And then there was the explosions, which I guess Uncle Howdy's made of dynamite, is all I can assume. Uncle Howdy's combustible. He is an explosive device. So did he blow up LA Knight? I mean, so did Bray Wyatt plant a bomb inside of Uncle Howdy's rectum? So whenever Uncle Howdy jumped off, he would blow up LA Knight?
I think it's like...
Is Bray Wyatt a heel now?
Okay, I think it's like this. You're going to see Bray Wyatt, like the promo Bray Wyatt in the in the ring talking the good guy. But when he start wrestling somebody, you're gonna see like the heel side of him. So in my opinion, I've seen it like this. As long as he in the crowd just talking, not wrestling nobody, he's the baby face. But the moment he gets in the ring, fights LA Knight, Seth, or maybe even Roman, he's gonna be the heel. And that's how they try and portray the story of him being the goody goody two shoe.
Yeah.
And then once he gets in the ring, bam, it's like what was it? Festus. Think of like Festus when the bell rang, ding, he became a monster ass heel. And then when the bell didn't ring, he went back to that like a little dummy. No,
Yeah.
not the bad way.
I mean, they can't they can't have Bray go anywhere near Roman Reigns. That can't happen. They can't. I I'm sorry, but you can't have Roman face Bray Wyatt in this iteration of Bray Wyatt. Because the fans want this Bray Wyatt character to be the Fiend in a lot of ways, and fans really want a very successful Bray Wyatt
Mm-hmm.
gimmick, and you can't because you can't put him over on Roman. Like Bray can't beat Roman now. Like 3 years ago, okay,
Yeah.
well, yeah, 3-ish years
Yeah.
ago, the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, whichever iteration, could have gone over on Roman. It would have been
Mm-hmm.
fine. Not anymore. Roman's on God mode. The people who can beat Roman Reigns are a very, very small handful of people, and it has to be done a very specific way. Cody can beat Roman Reigns clean. You could do Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy could beat Roman Reigns with some
I think
shenanigans.
if it did come down to Sammy, I don't want to say this, but I think if it was Sammy and Roman, you're gonna see Bloodline and you're gonna see KO all trying to get in the way. And
Yep.
somewhere, I believe KO is gonna do something when the ref is knocked down. That's how Sammy gonna win. It might sound weird.
Do you do you think Sammy gets a match against Roman Reigns before WrestleMania? Do you think they take one belt off of Roman before we get to
Okay,
Mania?
this is my opinion. Rumor. It's a rumor. But I seen like months ago that this Saturday and Sunday, one of the belts is gonna be on the line. Don't know which one, but he gonna fight two people Saturday and Sunday. So
I did see that too. I seen that it was going to be Roman's going to defend
yeah,
both nights, and the speculation when that story first came out was that night one would be the winner of the Rumble, night two would be The
yeah,
Rock, because the idea was The Rock would come back, but only want to go after the Universal title because he had never had the Universal title. So they were going to split them up that way and have Roman defend on
yeah.
both nights. Which you could have done something with whoever they were going to put against Roman on night one, where you kind of protected him. You could overbook it. It could have even been a triple threat match where Roman doesn't have to take the pin to lose the title. Then he could go on and get beat clean by The Rock. Now, I think we have to assume The Rock is completely out of the picture for WrestleMania. That's not going to make
He's
that
out
happen.
because from what they said, his body is not used to taking the bumps right now, so he won't be ready for it.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds weird,
I,
but I mean, I get
yeah,
it.
I don't understand it. I seen what they said. He's always in shape, working out, but if he ain't taking them bumps like once or twice,
Yeah, he's not taking bumps in
he's not taking
Hollywood.
bumps like maybe twice a week or anything like that to get his body used to it, or like doing the rock bottom. But hey, he can't do it. So hey, but
So we do have one premium live event before we get to
the chamber,
WrestleMania, though. We we have the Elimination Chamber, but
it's in
also
Quebec. Sammy,
it's in Montreal.
yeah,
You know what happens in
Sammy and
Montreal,
KO
right?
are the number one stars.
They are, but also screw jobs happen
That
in
too.
Montreal. They could screw Roman out of a title in
Nah,
Montreal,
nah,
but I don't think Roman's going to even be on the Elimination Chamber
no.
card. I don't I don't think that's a card they would even book Roman for. I think you would keep him off of Elimination Chamber and wait to be able to just have him be at WrestleMania. You could do something with Jey Uso or something, but I don't know. You do Bloodline and Sammy and KO in the chamber. I don't know who you really put in the chamber at this point because I don't know what's the prize. What's the prize of the Elimination
It's like
Chamber
I
this year?
told my buddy Mark yesterday. Like I told Mark yesterday, I believe this is what's gonna happen. It's not really. I think Saturday is gonna be Cody versus Roman. Then Sunday night WrestleMania, the winner of the Elimination Chamber is gonna be Sami Zayn. So what it's gonna seem like to me is, since Cody is on Raw, Saturday is the Raw match. Sunday is gonna be the SmackDown, which is gonna be like the one that everybody wants to see the most because I think Sammy's gonna win the Elimination Chamber, hands down. He's gonna win it because he already on the poster of the chair, that scene and everything like that. So hands down, Sammy's gonna win. So what's gonna happen is Adam, he gonna come up with some crazy ass concept talking about. I'm gonna say it like this: this Friday, Roman gonna talk shit like he always does. Either this Friday or next Friday, whichever SmackDown he gonna be on, he gonna talk shit. Then that's when Adam gonna come out and say, "Hey, guess what? It's an Elimination Chamber match, and since there was a winner on Raw, we need a winner for the title on SmackDown." He gonna try to split the belts up. That's how he gonna do it. He gonna split the belts up because Roman's talking shit because he's in God mode. He wants Adam is at the point where he wants the titles, one Raw, one SmackDown. He wants the tag team, Universal or WWE Champion, whichever one you want to call it. They want them both on separate shows again. They don't want undisputed titles. They want separate. So that's what's going to happen. I'm going to say this. This is my prediction. Elimination Chamber.
All right, this is perfect. What's your prediction? This is the way we'll end this episode.
Elimination
Joe's
Chamber
prediction.
this year is going to be winner takes belt. So SmackDown and the Raw tag team belts, the Universal Title champ. They're going to tag team match for the Elimination Chamber and a single match. Winner gets title matches. And Raw is going to have their own title match. So this is it. Judgment Day, Uso, and Uso still going to retain the belts on SmackDown at WrestleMania. That's my prediction.
I like that booking. That solid booking, Joe. That's the perfect spot to end today's episode. Thank you to everyone who checked us out. I'm Jeremy. This is Mark. He's Joe, my illegal brother-in-law. And this is Don't Say the F Word. We are your home for pro wrestling and combat sports. Please make sure you check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Don't Say the F Word Podcast. We are on YouTube. It's the Don't Say the F Word Podcast. You can find us on Spotify and Google Podcasts. And we will be back later in the week. We'll recap Raw probably Tuesday morning. And we do have some interviews lined up. We have some grappling competitors for GrappleFest 15. Going to do some interviews with some guys from the UK. Some nice UK grapplers will be on the show this week. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned to catch the interviews and catch the show. Thank you for checking us out.
Peace.